Morning, how we doing?
Outstanding, sir.
Okay, hey, I'm Charles Mosher. I'm going to be going over the evolution of the surfboards. Surfing has been around for centuries and centuries and centuries. Started off by the Polynesians, mainly the Hawaiians. Right here we have a picture of an Ola surfboard that was used by the noblemen and the chiefs. Basically in the Polynesian cultures, the chiefs, they used surfing as life lessons. Surfing taught them conflict resolutions. Surfboards were cut from trees, made of straight wood, wasn't burned or anything like the American Indians did with canoes. So basically, they cut a tree down, sliced the surfboard out, shaped it up a little bit, and surfed it. So these boards, as you can tell, are very tall. They're about 16 feet, 14 to 16 foot for the chiefs. And then for the noble people, they surf the alaya, and they're about 10 to 12 foot. Same way of cutting them out straight from the tree. It's just a plank of wood, and they surf them. Surfing started dying out by the 18th and 19th century when the Europeans and the missionaries started coming to Hawaiian Islands, started teaching them Christianity, stuff like that, try to get them away from their cultures of worshiping for the water because it was idol, worshiping false gods, stuff like that. So during the 18th, 19th century, surfing started going away. Beginning of the 20th century, the missionaries started leaving the Hawaiian Islands, surfing started picking back up. A lot of people that stayed on the islands started picking up surfing also. So with white men picking up surfing, it started leading into designs of the modern day surfboards. Some of the things they started doing with the surfboards was back in 1932, Tom Blank started making the blank. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Tom Blank started making the hollow surfboard. Basically, what they will do is come up with a frame, then shave off wood, cover it up to make the boards lighter. The boards are still big, still in the 10 to 12 foot range plus. Further on, testing surfboards is what they started doing is they started realizing, hey, if we start running down the tails, instead of having them flat, I don't know if you can really tell from this picture. All the tails were flat. They started playing with the tails, started realizing, hey, if you start running down the tails, you can make more on the boards more maneuverable. One of the other inventions that Tom Blake created was the fin. Realized, hey, if we put one fin on it, it's more maneuverable, more stable, and you can keep on going. In 1932, the balsa wood was discovered in South America, and they realized, hey, balsa wood is a whole lot lighter than the redwoods that was indigenous to Hawaii. So they started using that and started decreasing the shape of the weight of the board. And after World War II, more products started coming out. They started coming up with fiberglass. They realized, hey, I can cut the weight of the board down even more by using fiberglass instead of using all wood. But with the use of fiberglass, they realized that they still needed to use some wood, mainly in what was called the stringer, which is a piece of wood that goes through the center of the board to keep the board stable. There's a Californian that was visiting Hawaii. His name was George Freeth. What he did is he took the original Hawaiian board, cut it in half. So instead of having a 14 to 16 foot board, we now have a 8 to 12 foot board, and they started using that. Freeth took those boards to California and started the whole surfing movement up in California with those boards. In the 1950s, big wave surfing started becoming a major deal. Right here we have a picture of Greg Knoll standing out in front of this is pipe. When it was going off. He was one of the main people that started big wave surfing. He successfully surfed a 35-foot wave by paddling out, catching it, and running back in without wiping out. Well, during big wave surfing, we realized, hey, we need more maneuverability. We need it to be easier. We need it easier to paddle out, stuff like that. So they created the gun. The gun's about anywhere from a 10 to 12 foot board. It's shallower in the tail, narrower, but it's easier to paddle out and it's easier to catch the big waves with. Going on, 60s and 70s, we started coming up with more innovations for the surfboards. We started coming up with shorter boards, started coming out with single fins. The leash was invented because surfers got tired of falling off, wiping out, and then having to swim back to shore to pick up their board to go paddle right back out. So the fin was invented. In the 1980s, the thruster was invented. Thrusters are 3-fin setup. The board's usually about 6 foot tall, and it's used for ride waves. It's basically the current design that we're using right now for short wave. If you ever watching the World surfing championships, stuff like that, these are the boards they surf. More maneuverable, high speeds. You can go and start doing aerial tricks with them, stuff like that. As surfing has been evolving, people have started using boards in different, moving boards in different directions. Here we have a fish. Basically, what it is, a fish is, it's a smaller board, usually about 5 feet, but it's wide. That way, in small conditions, 1 to 2 foot conditions, you can use this board and surf it as a short board, where normally with a short board you need a larger wave. More people have moved on and redesigned boards for other things. Here we have a tow board. Tow board is based off of the thruster condition, and it's about 6 feet, but it's narrower, and you have fixable straps, basically so you can surf big waves by being towed into them instead of having to paddle out. It allows a lot of people to surf waves up to 40 and 60 foot without having to paddle and being able to get rescued pretty easily. As surfing continues to evolve, more people have come up with even greater things to do for surfing. Here we got Laird Hamilton and his what he calls a hydrofoil surfboard. Basically, as you can tell, it looks like you get towed in, looks like you're on a snowboard, but you have a hydrofoil so that you can actually bypass the chop that a large wave creates. As surfing continues to evolve, you go to a greater detail of lighter materials, bigger boards, which opens up the possibility of surfing anything, anywhere, at any time. So as you can tell, over the past century, surfing has evolved into a big time industry, and it has had many evolutions. Thank you.